Now in this discussion we will study the piston slap and how to reduce the piston slap. We have seen that piston and cylinder arrangement. Uh, See, normally what happens, pistons are made of lightweight materials like aluminum alloys and the cylinders are made of cast iron. So what happens, the two materials have got different coefficient of thermal expansion. When they are operating and at high temperatures, you find that the piston will expand faster than the cylinder, and hence there is the possibility of seizure. Seizure means the piston gets stuck in the cylinder. This also happens when there is loss of lubrication and the temperatures exceed beyond a certain threshold limit. Now, to reduce this, what the designers have done, they have kept the piston diameter slightly lower than the cylinder diameter, so that there is a gap between the piston and the cylinder. But this leads to piston slap when the engine is cold or when the engine is starting and the components are cold. Then due to this gap between the piston and the cylinder, there is a slapping action which takes place. Now, to reduce that, the some arrangements have been done in the piston. We will see some four arrangements how to reduce the piston slap. Now, the piston slap happens because of the rise in temperature of the piston. So, we are in this arrangements what we are seeing, like cutting a horizontal slot. First one is cutting a horizontal slot in the piston itself, skirt. So you can see this method keeps the heat away from the lower part by cutting a horizontal slot in the piston just below the oil control ring. The skirt portion does not become very hot and hence does not expand very much. The first is the cutting of horizontal slot. So in the skirt portion there is a horizontal slot cut in the piston. So what happens? This uh, does not allow the heat from the top portion of the piston to come to the bottom portion, because this is the portion which expands and causes the slap, so, or seizure. Then that is why, to avoid the heat passing out this way, there is a there in some designs they are cutting a slot in the piston skirt. Second, there is a heat dam just below the land of the piston, like below the head and crown, and just beside the land, you have got a small slot is made here. Okay. By making a heat dam, by cutting a groove near the top of the piston, the flow of heat flow to the lower part of the piston can be reduced. Hence, the skirt runs cooler and does not expand very much. The second option is to have a heat dam. So what they do, in the heat dam, they cut a groove at the top portion, on the top, below the land and above the top ring, so that the heat from this land, or the because of the exhaust gas, the burnt gases are there here, which transfer the heat to the top portion. This heat is not transferred to the bottom position, and the bottom portion runs cooler. This is known as heat dam, and we do not allow the enlargement or expansion of the skirt area. Now, there are another types of slots which are made. Okay, you can see like there is a T slot, and again in the skirt area there is a T slot. So this slot does not allow the heat from the top portion to come to the skirt. Okay, so in a split skirt piston, the skirt is partially or completely split. So here also you can see there is a slot made. So these kind of slots will prevent the heat transfer and the expansion of the uh, skirt, because the expansion of the skirt only will lead to the seizure. So this way, these are the like four methods what we have seen, which can reduce the uh, like piston slap. Okay, and thus now we have engines which where the diameter of the piston and cylinder are very close and there is no much gap like in the earlier days design. Okay, thank you.